What am I saying?
First night.
Yeah.
I did that.
You need to.
Quite a while. Yeah, here.
You're not fine.
It's here. It has made it.
How's Rich today?
Doing okay, how about you?
Okay.
Try that.
Paul gonna be here?
Yeah, Paul said he was gonna be here. Now Dare had something come up. He's got to fly out today, so, that's why he wrote the letter on, but yeah, Paul's supposed to be here. Yeah, I thought I had his number. Gary, do you have Paul's number? I thought I had his number. Do you what? Do you have Paul's number?
Yes, I
I thought I had it, but.
Well, let me find it. On one of my two phones. I thought I did.
Phil, they got all them shrubs out, Phil.
We get him out?
Yeah, they jumped in there yesterday, I guess. I don't know about that deal.
Hey, Paul, it's Rich. Are you gonna be able to make it? Okay. Perfect, yeah, you got stuff in the rain. You hit by lightning. Okay, we'll stall a second. Okay. Okay, so, okay, thanks. Paul's walking in the front door. He's moving slow this morning. We'll get started here in a second. Paul's at the front door, walking in. This rain's supposed to stay all day today?
It's, yeah, they said it could get bad today.
Really?
Supposed to have some winds.
Everything come
Yeah,
together.
it's supposed to pick up and all. Oh, we're gonna put it, Jody's nephew lives up in Copenhagen. His house was one of them that got flooded this weekend. Yeah, it's a mess up there. There he is.
Morning, Paul. Good morning.
Make it okay? All right, we will call to order our special meeting for the RDC this morning. Mr. Secretary, would you like to do roll call real quick?
Yes, sir. Derek Grant, marking his absent. Paul Out. Here. Rich Griswold.
Here.
Al Myers here, and Phil Decker.
Present.
Thank you, we're all here, we got a quorum.
Thank you, sir.
This special meeting is to talk about the theater that we've all seen under construction for the past year and watching it evolve and so forth. This is to discuss going a different route of looking at the RDC just paying cash for the building instead of going for a bond and going through the city council and all that kind of stuff. So, Mayor, would you like to step up and explain everything, please?
Good morning, gentlemen. Thank you for taking time out this morning for this meeting. We've got a situation that we've been working on the theater now for almost 2 years. It's going to be opening up, so the opening will be December 6th. There's going to be a couple of soft openings before then, as far as a couple of concerts and a couple of movies. This is something that our downtown is in dire need of. This will help generate activity downtown on our square. Our goal is to have something there every weekend, at least one weekend a month have dedicated for movie weekend. So we may have shows on Friday, Saturday, and a matinee on Sunday. So it's going to be have a 320 capacity. We were looking at going through and doing a bond, but knowing what has come up and what's going to happen with Senate Bill 1 in the future, we're seeing that may not be the best route for the city to go. The RDC does have the cash availability to be able to do this transaction in cash, so we feel like this is a better way to do this. Again, this is something that's going to benefit our downtown restaurants and merchants greatly and change the dynamics of our downtown. So
Now, the RDC, we will not hold the ownership of it. How will it be?
my understanding, talking with your legal counsel, Mr. Gaunt, and the city's legal counsel, Mr. Coffey, it'll be transferred to the Redevelopment Authority, which will be the holding company for it. Then we also had looked at making a new department for the city, Arts and Entertainment, but now we're thinking we may just suggest them to become a not-for-profit. There'll be some grant monies there that they could try to apply for it, help run, manage the theater, and therefore then they would do Little League and they would just lease it back off of the RDA so much, a year. We're hoping, and I know Mr. Gaunt had asked for us to put together a pro forma showing how and when we expect this to be self-sufficient, and we think that within a year and a half, the theater will be able to sustain itself.
And there's a committee already formed.
Yes, there's a committee of seven people that are working to start booking entertainment and bringing in shows, looking for volunteers. We want to make sure we stress that. We figure that we're going to need anywhere from 8 to 10 volunteers for each show, each time the door is open, and so we're going to be making a plea to the community for that, for volunteers.
Any questions from anybody on the setup and how it would operate and all?
If there's any profit, where would that profit go?
We would probably put it back into the whatever the not-for-profit's called, and then just see, if anything could ever be funneled back to the RDC or the city, we would try to do that. But as with most not-for-profits, they're going to be struggling. I mean, we are going to be looking to get sponsors. I know Hendrix Live, the committee's been up there, Gary's been up there to talk with them. They have certain sponsor levels. They have different sponsors that would, the whole season, determine what a season might be. But Hendrix Live isn't one that goes every weekend. They have special events maybe once a month, maybe twice a month there. And again, we're looking to make this something that we've got something going on every weekend. And it's going to be a intimate enough surrounding that, you can have an illusionist, a comedian. With 320 seats, every seat's going to be a good seat.
Now, will this coincide with the amphitheater? Will there be shows going both places at the same time?
Probably not, just because of the proximity, and any concert that Mr. Helms has had, I don't think we could have had some book signing or something going on in the theater. So they'll work closely, making sure the schedule doesn't overlap there.
Anybody else have any questions?
I have one little question, confusion, I guess, since I'm responsible to our council, and we've been asked to start reporting the activities from our RDC. I was confused about the email I received stating that we wanted to keep this or prevent this from going before the council, and I just wondered what the reasoning was for that.
I can answer that. I had conversation with your son, and he basically told me that we did not have the votes to get this passed through the council. So that's when we did a 180 and decided to come here. My main concern was when you voted no against both of these. One, you didn't vote, but the second one you did vote no on.
Right.
That's when I started getting concerned, and I had a conversation with a few of the council, letting them know what was going to be happening. And then your son told me that I did not have the votes to get this passed. This is a contract that we signed with Mr. Finneman to purchase this. So I don't want to say we were on the hook, but we were obligated and made a commitment that we would do this.
Okay, that answers my question.
Fiscally, this makes sense. Having a bond has a lot of soft costs associated with this. We're going to avoid all those costs.
I was going to say the issue with the bond was that was going to increase taxation and do some other
Well,
certain things that I'm not sure that.
But it wasn't going to increase the taxation. The tax rate was actually going to go down, because we had a bond that was about, and Mr. Merritt can probably address this better than I. We had a bond that we were paying 13 cents on, and to take this bond is only be a nickel.
So it's still going to go down.
Yeah. But like Gary says, it makes the most fiscal sense. We've got the funds to do it. There's nothing on the horizon right now that we're going to be doing, so let's avoid the interest over the next, 15 years or whatever, and just go ahead and pay cash.
I mean, the bottom line is this, I remember sitting in here all together, as you said, 2 years ago or whatnot, and all discussing this, and us telling the man that this is
Yeah,
what we're
this
going to
is
do.
the direction we were going.
I tend to always want to be a man of my word, especially with private money that's thrown a lot of it our city's way. Who's going to carry the cost while it's not making money?
We're going to come back and ask the RDC to help fund some of that cost. Mr. Merritt is here to explain how that would cash flow from you, but we're hoping that after the first year, it'll be self-sustaining.
Any other questions before we have Ben go over the numbers? Thank you, Mayor. Ben, can you put together a spreadsheet of the funds we had? My concern to you was to make sure that we continue to cover our obligations that we are committed to, and then make sure that we have some still left over. If you go through all of our numbers for us, please.
Good morning. So I took the spreadsheet that I gave to you previously and updated it and added some highlights just so we can kind of have some clarification. I will tell you up front, this is a little bit of a pessimistic view, because I'd rather come to you in a year and say you have more money than I said you would than come to you in a year and say you have less money than I said you would. So this is pretty pessimistic. So the items highlighted in yellow are one-time events. So we are currently working on that parking lot on Morgan Street. That's a one-time event. If you proceed with purchasing this Civic Center building and take on the soft costs, obviously those are one-time events. Part of the Civic Center, we have a grant. It's a reimbursable grant. So we'll have $275,000 coming back to you, and that will go to you at this point if you proceed. That's also a one-time event. I've put some other costs in here as kind of a worst-case scenario. So if you were to take on, as the mayor was mentioning, the Civic Center, staffing expenses, contractual, having people run concessions and whatnot, and have the administration fees, I put in up to $360,000 in there. Obviously, we're talking about doing that for a year and a half. I just put that in there as an ongoing fee. Obviously, that's not what our intentions would be, just to kind of give you a worst-case scenario. So with your cash balances that you have now, because right now you're sitting on over $2 million in cash, you still have $1.5 million available in your RDC 2021 bond that could be used for this project. And with your tax draw and getting that grant back, that'll give you $5.9 million. I'm just going to round numbers. With all these expenses, you're looking at 4.8. So you can take on these expenses and still grow in your cash, start growing that back. Obviously, you're going to be cash poor for a short period of time, but it's not going to take you long to start getting those cash balances built back up. Jeff and I have worked on what we anticipate your tax draws being in the next 3 years. Again, we took a pessimistic view with Senate Bill 1 as it is currently. So these are your tax draws for the next 3 years at the bottom left. So even with that, you're in pretty good shape financially. So from a financial perspective, we don't have any concerns with this. And as was alluded earlier, I mean, the RDC did sign that memorandum of understanding back in '23 to purchase it. Now, to do a purchase outright instead of the bond, like Mr. Oakes was referring to, the bond itself was going to have about $200,000 in soft costs, so we're saving that. Also, the total bond payout, if you took that annual payment and spread it out, your total payout is going to be roughly about $5 million. So by paying cash, you're really saving, the city of Martinsville about $1.7 million. So it hurts up front, but I think it's a better fiscal plan to do it. So. And fortunately, you're in a cash position, you can do it. So.
Any questions for Ben on the way the money's laid out? I just wanted to make sure that we were able to still meet our commitments that we have on the table, which we'll still be able to continue through with. And still have some money left over that some small projects over the next year we'll be able to still look at. It's not like we're not going to be able to do anything. We'll be able to do some smaller stuff. I don't know of anything on the horizon major that's coming up. I haven't heard anything, but we can still take care of some of the smaller things.
Your next 6 months will be tight, and then you'll get some wiggle room again.
Start moving again.
On the Civic Center staff and expenses, what would those be besides staffing events and whatnot?
So my understanding is we're going to have some bidding, and the mayor probably can speak more to this than I can, but it's not really you're hiring anybody. We'll have like contractors come in and basically run the concessions and whatnot. So again, this is kind of a worst case and up to them.
I was just trying to figure out how we get there.
Yeah, you're not going to be hiring anybody. So.
No, it's a situation where once you start looking at, you're going to have to give them some down payment or whatever. So that's what that's going to
Pay for the
be.
acts themselves.
Sorry.
Paying for the acts themselves.
Right, that, and, we'll probably use the same cleaning crew that we are using now at the police headquarters. Police department seems to be very pleased with them. We'll talk with them and have them come over. But again, most of it's all going to be volunteers. We will have one lady that will be the executive director, so to speak, of that, helping get everything organized, keep everything flowing, and then we'll have to have sound men and light men coming in. And like Mr. Meredith said he looks at the worst-case scenario on this, so it won't be any more than that.
I was only asking the question for the simple fact of usually when you put somebody in charge of running something with a checkbook, if they're not responsible for it, sometimes it gets away. That's what I
Well,
was asking.
Ultimately, they'll answer back to me, so there will be a check and balance there on that.
Any questions for either one, or comments, or? I did send out, Dare was not able to be here today, he is flying out. I sent all of you a copy of his email that he had sent, and I just wanted to read here what his thoughts were. Dare puts, I have been a proponent of the theater project since its initial inception. Our committee has used its resources for many projects over the years to make Martinsville a better place to live. We have improved sewer systems, water capabilities, and many other important projects. Parks and entertainments are an important part of everyone's life. We all work hard so that we can enjoy our leisure time with our friends and family. This theater will improve the lives of everyone in Martinsville and help our local businesses. For these reasons, I am very glad to support this project and look forward to the joy it will bring our residents in many years to come. Respectfully, Dare Grant. So I just wanted to, since he wasn't here, I just wanted to let everybody know how he felt about it too. So, you got one more thing, Ben?
I have one more thing. Yeah, the mayor reminded me that, just as a reminder, this does not impact, used to have bonding capacity, even with this pessimistic view. So you do have a bond that's dropping off next year, at the end of the year. So if you were to need to take on another large project, you still have the flexibility to do that. So again, it just makes it kind of tight right now, but
So
your long-term
if something
forecast is still
major
good.
came up that we wanted to get behind, we could still look
You
at
can still do that.
doing bonds next year then?
Yep.
Okay. Anybody have any other questions, comments? All right, I am going to ask for a motion that the RDC purchase the theater outright with cash and then eventually be turned over to the RDA, and they will run it from there. So I ask for a motion.
I'll make a motion that we fulfill the commitment that we said we do.
Thank you, Paul. And second?
I'll second.
And all in favor, please say aye. Aye. All opposed?
Abstain?
And we have a quorum, so the motion is passed that we will purchase the RDC or the RDC will purchase the theater for cash and begin everything from there. Any questions or comments or anything? One thing Gary wanted me just to kind of throw out for everybody to think about. Oh, yes, sir. Sorry.
What is the final purchase price? So with that cash?
2.9 is the final. I'll get you a copy of this. So, for next month's meeting, the property down on Ohio Street, that developer has decided not to renew his options that he has on all the grounds, so that's going to open back up. So I want to think about possibly doing a traffic study there at the stoplight of Ohio, and that's Ruth Brucey Drive, isn't it? Doing a traffic study, probably guessing in the range of 20,000 roughly, so we can kind of get an idea of what direction we want to move forward on that property down there too. So something to think about for July's meeting. So anything else anybody needs to bring up or talk about? this meeting adjourned then. Thanks, everybody, for coming in.
What's it?
Yeah.
Did charge last night. The light still came on outlet, but the charger block did not charge either of the iPads. So I switched it, it's function for this night, they have 100% charge today, but something to be aware of.